Welcome to Adrian's Avenue, and today is the day that I answer a reoccurring question in my comments, and it's about retirement. How much do you need to actually retire and have a good retirement? We're going to talk about it. Stay tuned. On this channel, we help you make better decisions for a better life because I truly believe that your daily decisions determines your destiny. Now, whether you love your job or not, one day we all look to retire. It may be something that we really like and we want to keep doing it as long as possible. That's fine. But one day we would like to be retired, do some traveling, go visit family, go sit on a beach, drink some kind of cool drink on the beach in the sun, enjoy life, just do things that you've been looking to do all your life, but you've not gotten a chance to do it. And so retirement is on the minds of most people as they're working. And the thing is, the sooner you start thinking about retirement, the better off you will be. The very first thing that you want to consider before you retire, before you step out of that job, before you even think about leaving that job is the debt. What are you going to be paying for in retirement? What will your expenses be? Is your house paid off? Are your cars paid off? How's your credit card debt? We have to think of all these things. What reoccurring expenses do you have now that you will carry over to retirement? Are there some maintenance, lawn maintenance, housekeepers? You'll still continue to pay those people. What about if something were to break down in the house? Do you have an emergency fund set aside to take care of that? You want to make sure that your finances and your monthly outflow is not interrupted just because you've left your job and decided to retire. So these expenses, as far as, rent, food, clothing, these things, transportation, if you want to travel somewhere, these all need to be considered before you decide to go ahead and leave that job. So make sure we consider all of these. That's the number one thing you want to think about. And this is a good time. If you're thinking about retirement, go ahead, start taking notes, sit down with a pad, a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen and start writing these things down because you need to think about them. And even if you're not thinking of retirement at this particular point in time, it's still a good time to take notes because the more you know and the sooner you start acting on some of these, the earlier that you can retire yourself. Now, some experts say that it'll take 70 to 80% of your pre-retirement income to actually support you in your retirement. And if you plan on getting Social Security at some point in time, which it may be there and may be in a reduced amount, right now it's about 40% of your current income to cover you as far as when you retire. Once you get to that stage, it may be less than that. It may be 30%. Who knows? And if you don't work for one of the agencies, state agency, governmental agencies, or some of the private firms, not very many anymore, that give pensions, you're going to have to supplement your retirement some kind of way. So it may be a 401k, it may be an IRA, Roth 401k, Roth IRA, but it should be something that you can have a pool of money that you're pulling from to go ahead and support your lifestyle. And lifestyle is the second thing that you need to actually think about. What type of lifestyle do you want when you retire? Do you want to go on cruises? Do you want to travel? Do you want to just stay at home and do crafts? Do you want to go volunteer somewhere at the hospitals or just do some volunteer work? What do you want to do in retirement? You've worked all these years, 25, 30, 35 years. Now it's your time to enjoy yourself and do what you want to do. Hopefully you've done what you had to do. Now you can do what you want to do in your retirement years. You may want to take up a hobby. You may want to do something that you've always wanted to do. You don't have to be ancient or old to retire. You can retire at a younger age and go off into something else. Just because you've retired from a job doesn't mean you retired from life itself. So consider the lifestyle that you want when you do officially either retire from a job or retire permanently and want to go just live the lifestyle that you've been dreaming of all your life and the lifestyle that you've worked for all your life. Needless to say, no one knows your death date. And when you start thinking about retirement, one thing you need to think about is your longevity. How many years will the money that you saved up and that you had prepared for retirement carry you through to the end of your life? You don't know, but the things you can do is look at your history of the folks in your family. Do they live a long time? Do they live into their 90s? Do they live into their 80s? What about your health as it is right now? Do you have some ailments? Or are you taking some medications for some things? Are you active? Do you go to the gym? Do you run? Take all these things into consideration. How do you feel? Do you feel fine? You could go and get some scans, get some blood work done, and just check on your health before you decide to really retire, just to see how things are going on with your body. You may go talk to some people that can help you as far as people that do natural things, natural health, things that you can do to maybe some stretches, some exercises that can help you if you've had back pain, if you had knee pain, what's going on with your body, and try to determine, how long you may live. Like I said, anyone could say that we have longevity in our family, and you could get into a car accident or something like that, and your life be just taken away from you just like that. But what you want to do is try to calculate, if I have 20 more years to live, if I have 30 more years to live, if I have 40 more years to live, do I have enough money to carry me through those years? And, at that point in time, am I going to be living by myself? Is someone going to have to be here with me? What will be the quality of your life? But longevity, this is what all the life insurance policies are based on. And these annuities, they're based on your longevity and how long you may live out the balance of your life. So take that in consideration. Don't just think that, I'm 60, I got 15 more years to live and that's it. You may live 30 more years. So you want to make sure you have enough money to cover that time and your lifespan. So plan for as long as you think you can, and stay in good health for as long as you possibly can. Now, before you retire, I want you to hit that like button and that subscribe button, because I want you to stay up to date on the latest information as it becomes available to you, and make a comment. Just like this question had been asked of me a couple of times in my comments, I'm answering them. So I'm here willing to help, willing to answer your comments. So please make a comment if you feel like you want to. Next up, you want to calculate where you're going to be pulling this income from. Where will your income come from to cover your expenses, your travel, whatever you plan to do during retirement? And that's one thing that you want to nail down for sure. Like I said, we talked about Social Security. Will you have anything coming from your current job when you retire, such as a pension fund? Will you have some 401ks, some IRAs? Is there going to be a savings that you can pull from as you need to? And I'm not talking about emergency fund. I'm talking about another savings account that you can pull for, such as your retirement. Will you invest in an annuity that you will have payments coming into you on a monthly basis? And as much as you can get paid off before you get to retirement, the better off it'll be, because you won't need as much monthly income coming in to pay for things. So if your house is paid off, your cars are paid off, you're good, because those are the largest expenses that you normally have, and you won't have to worry about those monthly payments. Things will happen and things will come in, but it won't be a consistent monthly payment. And during retirement, you may want to get a part-time job. If you figure that in, that can help supplement the money that you may need as far as that income coming in to cover those bills that you have on a monthly basis. Now, also, you want to make sure you have that emergency fund. You always need an emergency fund forever and ever and ever. So you need that emergency fund, because if something were to come up and you're only working part-time or you don't have a full-time job, you need the money there to go ahead and spend. You want to stay in control of those credit cards if you use credit cards or use your debit card, but you need to calculate the income that you're going to have and where are these sources coming from. That's the main thing to do. Sit down and make those calculations. And when the numbers work and you can retire. The beautiful thing about retirement is if you're still working, you can plan it out. You can have that number. What is your freedom number? What is your retirement number? That when you hit it, you can walk off that job or walk away into something that you may want to do better than your current job. So if you're still working, you can plan that for yourself and then work towards that goal. because like I said, that's what happened to me once I hit the goal that I needed to hit in order to leave one job and become a full-time realtor. I did that. So I retired from my 9-to-5 job. I did not retire from life. I was a part-time realtor. Now I'm a full-time realtor, and that's what I do now. So I'm not retired, and I love doing my YouTube videos too. That's another thing that I really, really like doing. And so that's what I'm into now, the things that I want to do at this point in time. But I figured it out before I left. And the earlier you start, this is the key. The sooner you start, time is on your side, because you can start socking away money and it can start compounding interest, and things can start growing for you in the stock market, in some of these high yielding savings accounts. It can start growing on your behalf. And so when you hit that number, everybody has a number, or you should have a number. And once you hit that number and you figure it out, what you need to carry you on through the balance of your life, then you can walk away. You know, you can always get a part-time job or start working somewhere else if you need to, but make sure your numbers are solid before you leave the company that you're currently working for. There's one thing out there that I want all of you guys to know about, is that there are retirement calculators. If you go online and you can Google retirement calculators, and they will come up. It'll ask you certain questions. You stick your numbers in there and it will calculate how much you need as far as retirement and the things you need to do to get there. So there is help out there for you. Just Google it, do a little research yourself and find it, and it'll help you make these decisions, because, you know, when you retire, there's emotional things that go on, but more importantly, there are financial things that go on. There are family things that go on. There are decisions that need to be made by you and questions that need to be answered by you before you retire. Don't step out of something into the life that you felt like you always deserved and always wanted, and you're not prepared. That is the worst thing that you can do. So if you want to find out when you can retire, take the notes and take the things that we're talking about, and then go to those calculators that are out there and stick the numbers in and see what works for you. I can't tell you what works for you, because I don't know the lifestyle you want to live after you retire. You may want to just travel all over the world. You know, you may want to buy a van and just start living in a van and travel. Who knows? People are doing all sorts of things these days as far as being retired or semi-retired. So, but it's all depending on what you want to do. So take the notes, go out and find your retirement number, and retire on your own terms. Okay, the last thing that I'll say about preparing for retirement is once you get to that point that you are prepared or think you're prepared, look at your plan to see if there are any gaps in the plan. Because if there are gaps in the plan, you want to make sure you have some way, some means of filling those gaps. Either maybe not going on as many trips as you thought you were going to in retirement, or doubling up on some type of savings, or getting some type of part-time job before you retire to make up the difference. But there are more than likely going to be some gaps in your plan. And if you do it early enough, you can fill these gaps and still meet that date. It may have to, instead of retiring at 55, you may want to move it to 57, 58, or instead of retiring at 40, you may have to move it to 45. Whatever your plan is and however those numbers are. But make sure you make up those gaps before you jump out and just go ahead and retire saying, I've got enough of this, I need to get out. Don't do that. Do the right thing, because you want to, once you retire, you want to have a good life, and you don't want to necessarily go back if you don't have to. So keep these in consideration, and don't leave, because I got one more bonus for you. Okay, last but not least, I have one little bonus for you, and this bonus can be used for actually anyone. But I know with my parents that's been retired for a while, and they're elderly, they're in their 90s. You could be in your 80s, you could be in your 90s. But there are scams out there, you all, for people who are retired or the elderly. Make sure you protect yourself. There are people out there exploiting the elderly. And make sure you are protecting yourself, as well as if you have any people that you're caring for, make sure you're protecting them, because they're out there and they're wanting to take the money from people that may not know any better or may be caught a little off guard. So when you retire, just be cautious of everything, because people will be coming out at you with certain things. Do you want to buy this? Do you want to buy that? Talking to people on the phone, giving away information. You don't want to do that. So secure yourself. You've worked hard, you've got the money, you're the one that earned the money, and you don't want to give it away or be scammed where you cannot get it back, because some of these scams, once it's gone, and you can't get it back because you gave it over to them unknowingly, but you did give it over to them. So keep that in mind. Hopefully I've helped you today, and you can go back to the video, take your notes, and find your retirement number so you can retire on your own terms. See you in the next video.